A journey to the heart. Amelia had always been the type to hold her troubles close. To everyone around her, she was the strong one, the one with answers, always calm. But deep down, the burdens she carried weighed heavily on her, too tightly packed to let light in. She'd reached her breaking point last winter, after a particularly painful argument with her younger brother, Lucas. The fight had surfaced memories she thought she'd buried, a childhood marked by loneliness, a feeling that her worth was tied to how much she could do for others. After that night, Amelia knew she needed a change. She decided to take a solo trip to a small coastal village she'd read about, a place known for its slow pace and kind-hearted locals. It wasn't a destination in any tourist guide, it was just a name on an old map she'd found in her grandfather's attic. Willows Bay. The name alone made her think of quiet waves and the soft rustling of trees. It was exactly the peace she hoped would help her rediscover herself. The village was even smaller than she'd imagined, a cluster of cottages and winding paths surrounded by hills and vast open skies. She rented a little room at an inn owned by an elderly couple, Henry and Mabel, who greeted her with warm smiles and stories of the place's long history. Each morning, Amelia took long walks along the shore, letting the salt air fill her lungs. She'd watch the waves, letting their rhythm ease the knots in her heart. Bit by bit, she began to feel her soul loosen, just as the tide wore away at stones. One day, as she sat by the water's edge, an old woman approached her, carrying a small book and a gentle smile. "Mind if I sit here?" the woman asked. Amelia nodded, surprised by the stranger's warmth. "I'm Evelyn," the woman said. "I don't see many visitors here, especially not ones who seem to be on a journey of the heart." Amelia smiled, caught off guard by the woman's intuition. Evelyn's presence was calm, like the village itself, and soon Amelia found herself sharing pieces of her life with her. She talked about her family, her struggles, and the exhaustion that came from always being the one who held everyone else together. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Evelyn handed Amelia the small book she'd been holding. "This helped me through some of my own difficult days," she said. "Take it with you. Read it if you feel like it, but mostly, let yourself listen to your own heart." Amelia spent the next few days reading and reflecting on Evelyn's words. Gradually, she began to let go of the guilt she'd carried for so long. In its place, a new feeling bloomed, one of self-compassion. Her journey to Willows Bay had shown her that healing wasn't about fixing every broken part, but learning to embrace them, letting them be part of her story. When Amelia finally returned home, she felt a quiet strength she hadn't known before. She reconnected with her brother and began to build a relationship that felt genuine, balanced, and free from her old sense of duty. The journey hadn't erased all her struggles, but it had given her the courage to face them differently, with patience and kindness toward herself. The end.